Whatalofat. My name is Tufuga. I'm talking about the Rankin electorate for the Australian federal election. Um, Now, democracy is a double-edged sword. It can lead to tyranny by the masses against the minorities, in which case it could adversely affect if you're a minority group. Now, speaking of which, I'd like to speak on behalf of the Samoans, who represent a very small group of people within Australia. Okay, basically, according to the 2011 census, the Samoans represent less than 2% of the seat of Rankin population, which is interesting because for a country whose ethnic population is less than 190,000 within Samoa itself. In Brisbane itself, there's something like 3,500 Samoans here in Rankin itself, not in Brisbane. There's something like 8,000 Samoans in Brisbane, apparently, but that's being generous. But overall, there's something like 36,000 Samoans in Australia. All right, that's only a drop in the ocean. But when we're looking at the multicultural makeup of Rankin, which is where I live in, the overall majority of the 167,000 people living here are Anglo-Celtic, which is obvious. But in terms of ethnicity makeup of the multicultural groups of the non-Anglo-Celtic population, the the largest ethnic group within Rankin is Chinese, Mandarin, and Cantonese. But the Samoans actually are the second largest ethnic group within Rankin. Now, in that sense, it's very good for my people. Um, so in terms of Mandarin speaking peoples, we can gauge an idea of how many of the ethnic groups that there are here. Mandarin is spoken at home also reflects the ethnicity of the groups within the area. Now, of the Mandarin within Queensland, there's 38,000 of them. Uh, if you add together the Cantonese population, which is 22,000, you would guesstimate there's a 60,000 population of Chinese here in Queensland. The Samoan actually represents the third largest in Queensland, only by a couple of hundred, to the Indians. So Samoans are third with 12,809, which is 2% of Rankin's, just in my area. But in terms of overall Australian population, the Mandarins and the Chinese make up nearly what is it? 336,000 Mandarins in Australia and 263 Cantonese within Australia. You add them together, boo, you got what 600,000 Chinese living in Australia. Um, the Indian population within Australia is 111,000, and which is 0.5% of the total population. The Samoans make up a fraction of a percent, which is 0.2 of the total population of Australia. So the overall Chinese population within Australia is 3% of Australia's population is Chinese. Samoans is 0.2% of a percent. So that's a fraction. Now, the Arabs represent a larger portion, which is 287,174 Arab speakers within Australia, which is 1.3% of the total population, which is as compared to the Torres Strait Island and Aborigines, that's a fraction more in terms of their makeup as well. And so, if I could just pan down to the Aborigines within my area, um, of there's mm, there's total Aboriginal population within Australia is 548,368 Aborigines. In Queensland, there's 4,407 Aborigines. In Rankin, 155,825 Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders within Queensland. 4,407 of them live in Torres Strait. Live in Rankin. So that's a fair population of living in my area. But that is about 1,000 more than Samoans. But overall, the Samoan population is there's actually more Chinese in Rankin than there are of Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders, which is the second largest population in terms of ethnic minorities of non-Anglo-Celtic Australians, then only by 1,000. Than the Samoans. Samoans is by far more populous than the Maoris and the Tongans, who don't even register in the top 5 of ethnic groups within Rankin. But the Aborigines would have been just behind the Mandarins or the Chinese in general. So the Chinese are the largest ethnic groups, and then it's the Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders, which is a little bit ahead of the Samoans, and then it's a distance are the Indians, and then the Arabs, which are even further afield as well. So yes, good news is that there are more Samoans, and as a Samoan, I'm proud of my people here who are making themselves significantly noticed, and there's a good proportion of Samoans here, and which I am particularly proud of, and I'm also glad that that representation of Pacific Islanders as the dominant Pacific Islander group and Polynesian group within Rankin, we will have a significant political say in the very near future. So take heed.